I was supposed to be private.
Number 10, David Letterman and Uma Thurman, Late Show with David Letterman. In the mid-90s, David Letterman interviewed Uma Thurman on Late Show, and it started out normally, with Dave making his usual lighthearted jokes.
It's lovely there. Yeah. And the food, how was the food? Great, isn't it great?
Yes.
And the people are very friendly, very nice.
Very nice.
Yes, I've had several experiences in Italy.
Yet things got gradually uncomfortable, as Letterman seemed to be attempting to flirt with Thurman. He speaks of her upcoming film, yet makes a shift into asking her the ages of the men she's dated, slipping his own age into the mix.
And how does it end? To what end? What happens then?
It ends happily.
Oh, really?
Yes.
In what sense? The young girl and the old man get married?
No.
Have you ever been married yourself?
She shoves him off onto the person he belongs to.
Okay, I'm not talking about the film now. I want to talk more about you.
Oh, no, I was trying to see if we get past that.
Would you yourself date an older man? What's the oldest man you've ever gone out with?
Uma, in turn, tries to change the subject while nervously laughing. He tops it off with complimenting her ears and calling her, quote, a lovely piece of work.
Yes, this last weekend it opened, and it's sort of growing a little bit more.
It's opening in like New York and Los Angeles and then all over the country.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's a lovely, lovely piece of work, as are you.
Number 9, Jimmy Kimmel and Katherine Langford, Jimmy Kimmel Live. It's hard to tell if this next one is a joke or a serious intellectual lapse. Even the guest appears confused.
And I should have said something the other night, and in truth, I don't actually like change, but this change seems cool.
Thanks, Clay.
Kimmel was interviewing Katherine Langford from 13 Reasons Why, who is an actress from Australia. The questioning started the usual way, but then the host asked the actress where she learned to speak English. That is, what he called regular English, or what they speak in America.
And did you learn to speak English there? Is that where,
It is.
our
Yes.
regular English that we speak here?
She handled it with grace, yet the question was clearly greatly flawed. Perhaps the unease could have been prevented had Kimmel rephrased his question and asked about accents instead. Or he could have acknowledged that he misspoke, which would have saved him from the verbal flub or failed wisecrack, whatever it may have been.
Is that something you learned from watching television or from friends or studying or what?
I mean, partially probably just like from watching films. I mean, I feel like everyone who doesn't grow up in America vicariously lives through like American films.
Number 8, Jimmy Kimmel and Markiplier with Mrs. May, Jimmy Kimmel Live. Back in 2015, Jimmy Kimmel got heat from the online gaming community after claiming to not understand the point of Let's Plays and live streaming. To understand better, Kimmel met with YouTubers Markiplier and Mrs. May, but didn't exactly come with an open mind. Markiplier, trying to be his normal, kind self, explained how being an influential gaming figure gives him the chance to make a difference. But Kimmel seemed more concerned with giving distasteful punchlines than listening.
Like, I do charity events, I try to outreach, I go to conventions to meet my fans all the time. That's what makes it really special.
And then you have sex with these people?
Absolutely not.
No.
How dare you, sir?
Seeing that the current approach was going nowhere, Mrs. May opted to show how her parents reacted to virtual reality, thinking it might open Jimmy's eyes.
Oh my God, oh my God.
Is your mother having an orgasm?
I wouldn't know how that would sound like.
It sounds like that.
Nope. Then, after a quick foray into another game, it seemed like Markiplier and Mrs. May couldn't get out of there fast enough.
I hate watching other people have fun.
Really?
No, I don't know.
You're a horrible, horrible person.
Number 7, Stephen Colbert and Kristen Stewart, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Sometimes discomfort can be caused by a simple technical difficulty. When Stephen Colbert had Kristen Stewart on his show, everything was going swimmingly, until technology got in the way. Colbert cut off the chatter for a moment and proceeded to readjust Stewart's microphone, which was hitting a necklace she was wearing and causing audio issues.
Can I just do one thing here? I just want to take this mic and put this and maybe adjust your mic slightly. We're going to cut this part out because it's a little too intimate.
Wow.
But your chain, if you don't mind, your chain was hitting your mic and we couldn't hear you.
Cool.
Colbert got a little close to Stewart's chest area as he readjusted the mic, and she clearly wasn't a fan of that.
Pointed at the prompter and the prompter said, chain on mic.
Got it.
That's all. Now,
you know what
normally
we
we
can
have
do?
a madman named Mike backstage that we have to keep chained up. Uh-oh, but now continuity. Now what's going to happen with continuity? People at home are going to go, where's the chain? Now the chain's gone.
Colbert seemed unfazed by the entire thing and segued into the rest of the interview with ease. Number 6, Jimmy Kimmel and Joaquin Phoenix, Jimmy Kimmel Live. In an interview with Joaquin Phoenix, Jimmy Kimmel brought up Joaquin Phoenix's childhood breakdancing hobby.
Did you dance as a kid, or do you have any, like, dance background?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
won't brag, but I was really good.
You were a good dancer? Yeah.
Phoenix seemed taken aback, perhaps not expecting the subject to come up. Kimmel pressed on, however, with Phoenix answering his questions, albeit visibly vexed while doing so. Phoenix even told him it wasn't something to laugh about.
It's just something that I felt inside and expressed it.
Just you and a piece of cardboard in your room.
I'm making fun of it, but it was pretty serious for me.
To pour salt on the already sensitive wound, Kimmel surprised Phoenix with some bonus footage from Joker, which made the actor seem like kind of a diva. This led to a very uncomfortable Phoenix suddenly being made to apologize for his behavior on set. We can only assume he was really happy to see this interview come to a close.
Now, what happened there? Who's Larry?
Yeah, Larry is the cinematographer. This is so embarrassing.
And did he call you Cher?
Yeah, look, sometimes movies get intense.
Number 5, David Letterman and Angelina Jolie, Late Night with David Letterman.
You're laying out this year, huh?
I'm gonna have to learn how to bake some cookies or something.
You don't bake?
I don't bake.
You cook at all?
In an interview with Angelina Jolie, David Letterman's questions became increasingly, let's say, invasive, and she was clearly struggling to maintain her composure. He almost immediately commented on her smelling nice and brought up her relationship status.
You smell great. You smell nice. That's a lovely fragrance. You smell good. I appreciate that.
Anything I can do.
No, it's nice.
She hesitated with her words as Letterman pressed her for more answers. It became clear that Jolie was not enjoying herself during this interview. We've seen some of Letterman's questionable behavior towards his female guests before on this list, and we'll see it again. And unfortunately, this cringy Angelina Jolie interview was no exception.
Are you married? May I ask if you're married? No, that's all right. I said, Paul,
You know,
are you married?
I love.
I am married.
Okay, Paul's
No,
married.
we're in the process of a separation, but.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry to hear that.
No,
Forgive me. I'm
no,
sorry.
he's,
Perhaps I shouldn't have brought it up.
Number 4, Graham Norton and Cara Delevingne, Comic Relief, Red Nose Day. This one is extra cringy.
The thing about that having sex on a plane.
As you have, clearly.
Well, oddly, I have. But how many?
Let's talk
If
about
it's just with yourself, it doesn't count. You know that.
During his Graham Norton's Big Chat live segment of Comic Relief's Red Nose Day telethon event in 2017, the host zeroed in on Delevingne when the topic of the Mile High Club arose. He didn't quite ask her if she'd done it on a plane before, but rather stated it. She immediately appeared embarrassed and mentioned her father being in the crowd.
But Cara, you were doing it, and then a man was
My
watching
father
you.
is here, by the way. Sorry, Dad.
Oh, right. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I was very worried then. I thought, where is this anecdote going? So you were having sex on a plane, and someone was watching you.
Norton acknowledged this, yet pursued the line of questioning, brushing the dad issue aside in the quest for comedy gold. Delevingne doesn't have such a great reputation as an interviewee, but it's hard not to take her side on this one.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know how to start the story. No, we weren't.
They weren't in the toilet.
It was me in the toilet. Sorry. Why are you telling everyone now? Sorry, why?
Number 3, Jay Leno and Judith Light, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. In 1995, Jay Leno spoke with Judith Light of Who's the Boss fame.
You know, last time you were here, we were talking about that movie you did, the Women in Prison, which is like, it's the generic name for like a cable women in prison movie, and it had the shower scenes, and I watched it, I freeze-framed it, it was fascinating.
You did?
It was fascinating, yeah.
Things started off awkwardly, and to be honest, we can't see an interview like this being allowed to take place today. The host immediately brought up a prior interview in which they discussed a film where Light appeared nude. He then seemed to constantly be looking to raise the topic of her on-screen nudity.
Oh, this is a break.
Now put your arms around me, right, and do that. Now just unhook me.
Chris, you watching? Yeah. I unhooked this, okay. No.
That's good. That's good.
Now what do I do?
Now, okay. Now just do.
I tie your arms with these?
No. You don't.
And do these?
This somehow led to Light showing Leno how cable TV nude shoots work, as he got way too close to her. He then held her hands behind her back and unbuttoned her shirt. She asked to go to commercial, clearly crying out for help, with fellow guest David Spade even showing obvious discomfort.
Can you cut to commercial now?
No.
Like soon?
No, how about the skirt, too?
No. We don't do the skirt. We're only prepared for the top.
Sorry, baby.
Wait a minute.
Number 2, Jimmy Fallon and Roger Waters, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. Fallon is a big fan of Pink Floyd and was understandably excited to be interviewing Roger Waters on Late Night.
Schizophrenia is used to describe a loose kind of amalgamation of symptoms, of which many Sid had. He heard voices and he had trouble keeping a grip on the reality of his situation.
The subject inevitably turned to Syd Barrett, a former member of the band who left and was rumored to have suffered from some serious mental health issues, namely schizophrenia. Waters was noticeably emotional when discussing the late Barrett and took on a serious tone. Fallon then laughingly brought up a story about Barrett interrupting a Pink Floyd recording, referring to him as, quote, a bald man with a toothbrush in his mouth.
Is this story true that you were recording, I think it was Shine On You Crazy Diamond, and a bald man walked in with a toothbrush in his mouth? And no eyebrows? Am I making this up?
It's not a funny story.
Waters cleared up the story, making sure to tell Fallon that it wasn't a funny tale and that the entire situation was very sad.
I tried to make it funny.
Well, I will say this. Interviewing is harder than it looks, so considering how many interviews a lot of these hosts do, they are bound to have a few uncomfortable moments. However, I will also say that not all uncomfortable moments are created equal. Like, some are just not okay. Well, let's look at some honorable or dishonorable mentions right now, and then we'll take a look at our pick for the top time a talk show host made a celeb uncomfortable. Ellen DeGeneres and Bill Gates, The Ellen DeGeneres Show.
I'll go with 22. No, 15. 15.
Lower.
8.
All right, let's try it. $8.
Conan O'Brien and Nicole Scherzinger, Conan.
The way that I met Simon was they asked me to be a guest judge, Focus, Conan, to be, they asked me.
David Letterman and Justin Bieber, Late Show with David Letterman.
Is that a new tattoo?
This is a new tattoo.
Oh, God, how many do you have?
I have just a couple.
Well, tell me that's the last one.
It might be.
No, it is. You don't, I mean, honestly. How does that help? How does that help how you look to have a tattoo?
How does it not? I mean, it doesn't not help.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, David Letterman and Jennifer Aniston, Late Show with David Letterman. In 1998, David Letterman talked to Jennifer Aniston at the height of her Friends fame.
Good, because I've got a product report to read. It's like 8 pages. I hope I don't fall asleep.
Why? Did you write it?
The interview started out normally, with typical questions and such. It then took a bit of a sudden weird turn, as Letterman asked for forgiveness, then leaned in ridiculously close to Aniston and took a strand of her hair in his mouth.
Forgive me if this is rude. I just want to try one thing.
Okay.
Anton.
She was thankfully handed a napkin to clean it off.
I'm sorry.
That's going to be worth a lot of money
Something to do with the steam room. Now the film's already.
People are off here going.
I know people are horrified by that. We'll take it out in editing. Don't worry.
That was something that I'll never forget.
He then claimed that she scared him, and she let out a slight yell when he was performing his inappropriate action. Just bizarre.
Well, you scared the hell out of me because you're right there. I'm like that, and all of a sudden you scream. See.
When the interview continued, Aniston was visibly nervous and stumbling over her words from that point forward. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.